Hello, everyone. We're very pleased to be here. We have a great panel. And let's start right away with everybody introducing themselves and what they do and their business life with water. So why don't we start? Whoever wants to go first can go first.
First of all, thank you so much for this panel. For us, is a very important subject that we have to talk much more about it. Water is the most important nature resource, not just for Kovala, but for our lives and of the planet. And we use water as a fundamental water resource for our survival, of course. Internally, we use it with continuous institutional campaigns, awareness of savings. We talking about water scarcity due to lack of the rain, and regardless of this moment is a recurring theme for the company in terms of awareness, and awareness rising with lectures, internal programs, whatever, through meetings, circulars, and training from the company to talking about moments like this to create collective awareness. That's our focus today.
And what do you do in the company, Taisa?
I'm the Denim head, and I'm responsible for the marketing, production, product, and communication.
Okay, it's okay. Elizabeth.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Oliveira. I'm head of design at Denim Clothing Company. It's from Pakistan. I'm responsible for the product development at that company, and the water for me have in my daily life. It's really important, but in my professional life, I see it at the only resource that I use from everyone. It's from the humanities, from the globe. So I have a huge conscience at this moment to make sure that all the product we are developing have this main goal of using materials and reducing water consumption. So this is on our table as one of our big goals to reduce and reuse. So this is what water means at this moment in my daily life.
Thank you. Andre.
Thank you, Andrew. Thanks, everybody, for this invitation. I'm Andre Venier. I'm the Managing Director of Officina Plus 39. We are an Italian company, chemical company based in Biella. It's a city near Milan. And we are working with water as we are selling chemicals. So water, we know, is very important for our industry in all the aspects. And depending also how we are working around the concept of water, we can figure out different concepts. But let me start replying your first question. What is water for us? You know, we are living under the Alps. You stayed in Biella, so you know our place. So really, the Alps remember us every day the importance of the water and how much we have to protect the purity of the water. So what I learned from when I was children by my grandparents is how to respect the mountain, and that means for sure how to respect the water. So is a link that we are growing day by day in our journey as a person and also in the company. And it's something that I would like to share with you later, also some concept also about the future that we can think all together about water.
We'll get into it, but for the audience, can you explain how a chemical company implements water in your production? What part does water play in creating chemistry?
So, you know, water for the industry, textile industry is very important. At the end, for a chemical company, water is the vehicle that we are using to for the colors and the chemical auxiliaries to go from the baths, from the water to the textile substrates. So it's a vehicle. So what I think we are doing in the industry, a lot of new technologies are coming, and this technology permits us to change this vehicle. So one of the big innovation that I can see in our industry is the change of this vehicle from the water to other vehicles, let's call it this way, like the air, I can talk about the nebulization system, for example, with that permitting the laundries to reduce drastically the water consumption. In our case, in Officina Plus 39, we are working a lot on this during last years. And we launched this concept, Aqualess Mission, that we are developing a waterless product, so working the conventional machine, reducing the water consumption. So I think the future is to replace the water that is just a vehicle in the case of the chemicals to other vehicles that permit us to make a better transportation of the color and the chemicals to the textile substrate.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk about the Denim Mills, because both Elizabeth and Taisa work with Denim Mills. So Denim Mills, of course, everybody knows this because they've seen so many conversations about it. Every time they see a fabric, they're told how much water is being saved today. What is actually going on in both of your factories? Can you tell us, Taisa, in the water that you're using for your dyeing, first of all, how many dyeing machines do you have?
We have five dye machines, and we have one special dye machine, the green dye. Is a Italian machine, and this machine is very important for us because this machine can reduce the water in 40%, the use of the water, as you can compare with a conventional machine.
What is a conventional machine for you? You mean like a rope dyeing machine?
Yes, exactly, the rope dyeing.
So this is a slasher and it uses less water. Is that what you mean, or is it another kind of rope dyeing?
Yes, we are meaning in this point. I was talking about the the green machine, right?
I don't know what it means, green machine.
The green dye machine is a machine from Carmeyer.
Oh, yes.
And in this machine we can use about the technology with nitrogen. Then indigo can fixes at the yarn much better and much faster, reducing the use of water, reducing the use of the chemicals, and the power of energy too. So is a smart innovation technology for dye machine.
And Elizabeth, what is your company doing? Is your company doing rope or slasher, or both, or what do they do?
Yeah, they do both. But first of all, we are implementing new things like also green chemicals, removing some part of the process that was using too much water. We are also using other process like the foaming that is using less water. So reducing it it have been the biggest goal we are having in our hands, and these processes are helping us. The new chemicals, we are having a big results with the change, and also we are using less salt, that it's also very harmful for the water. So all these new processes have been really good for. We are having good results. A lot of things have to be done yet, but this is what we are doing.
All right, so then after you use your water and you use it for industrial purposes, what do you do with the water afterwards? And also, not only what do you do with it, well, let's just go through that. Let's go through first, Andrea. When you're finished with your water, what do you do with it?
Yes.
Please, Elizabeth.
Open on this one.
Yeah, I continue.
Please,
Should I continue?
Please.
Yes, okay. So we have two situations. From one side, we are using the ATP where we treat the water, and this is like more, this kind of technique have been using for many years now. We make sure that the water that we use is completely clean to go to the wildlife. But more the biggest change we had in the past years have been the recycling. So we we already have facilities to recycle the water and to reuse it again on the processes. And also we use it also for steam, for example, for the laundry. So we use not only for the process itself, but also for all the industry and all the factory.
So sorry, but you said two things. You recycle the water. So what percentage of your water do you recycle?
40% at this moment.
Let's talk about the 60%. The 40 is great. What do you do with the 60%?
So we are treating it, and part is going back to the ocean. This is the worst part of it. Yeah. But of course, we make sure that the water, we make all the processes to make sure that there is no harmful chemicals on the water and it's totally clean.
What law is that? Is that the local law, the national law, or what law is that? Is that
yes, we have national law. I cannot tell you exactly the name of the law. We have not as much as we wanted. It's not that. I mean, we believe that we are making more effort than the laws are asking us, for sure. But there exists a law about this. Yeah.
Taisa?
So in our case, we have the most modern, best wastewater treatment plant among all taste industry here in Brazil, which is the MBR, the membrane bioreactor and nanotechnology, in which we treat the effluent to ensure better return than we capture for our use. 30% of the water we reuse and 70% of the water is discharged back into rivers. So it's a disposal responsible. And so we capture the water, use it, treat it in the wastewater treatment plant, improve, and we reuse or discard.
And the 70% you send out, is that according to the Brazilian law?
Yes.
Okay. Andrea, your turn.
So, for us in the chemicals production, we are not consuming, so we are consuming water, the mixing, blending, but is not water that is going to the ocean or to the river. So really, I think, as I said before, as a chemical company, we have to concentrate more in how we are developing, when we are developing new chemicals that use less water possible. However, in our company, during last year, we improved more. Basically, we are using water to clean up our apparatus, so the reactors, the mixer, after the production of the chemicals. And during last year, we improved a lot the recycling water also in this aspect. So nowadays, we are recycling 80% of the water coming from the cleaning of the reactor. It's a minimum parts, however, we are not talking a big amount of water. And so compared, let's say, before 2019, we set up the new factory for the liquid production. In the new factory, we are now able to reduce 80% the water consumption for the cleaning of the apparatus. So however, is important. Any drops count. So this is something that we are doing recently, and I can see good result in this. So is important.
The 20% goes back to where?
20% is going to ATP, and so we are treating, and we are trying to, for example, when I say that how we were able to reduce 80% because we are trying to recycling water and reuse that water in our process. And this 20%, of course, remains something that we have to work out in the future.
Do you guys think that there should be an international law on how the water is returned? Or do you think it's okay that every country has their own rules? I'll give you an example, okay? LA, which in the early 2000s was considered as a premium jeans place, their regulations on water treatment was terrible. And the water just went back to the Pacific Ocean and nobody really cared. In fact, they charged the laundries for taking the water away. They charged them for water coming in at the same price, and then they would take it and put it into the ocean in not a very nice way. But we as an industry, we don't have, I think, global standards for the water, right? What do you guys think about that?
I'm totally, I see eye to eye with you, Andrew. We need a statement globally when we are talking about the water more, because here in Brazil, we have some difficulties too with this. We have a lot of, how can I say, we have a lot of people who are talking about the government take a lot of, for us, a kind of laws, legislation, but the practical is very different. And we believe that we need the allow more strong, for, not only for us, but for everyone.
Elizabeth, you think you
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think in all this, not only with the water, but all this sustainable conscious, we need laws, we need politics involved in this. And what happened with us also, it's like who is pushing? It's the industry who is making the work, and also some brands are asking us to improve and to reduce water with certifications. But every brands have their own standards. And finally, everyone is pushing to their side. And what happened with small brands, what happened with small companies, because all these investments I'm talking about DCC and all these top leading companies, but textile industry, it's not only that. This represents maybe 30% of the textile industry that is making the proper investment on their own. So finally, if we have this, water is of everyone. It belongs to the earth, we share all the ocean. So for sure, we should have a law for the whole world concerning to this, not only for water, but all this to recycle and to keep the resources, the natural resources we are using this way. This is not fair, and this is not the good way to do it.
Andrew, I'd like to compliment something that Isabella, when I was listening to Elizabeth talking, I remembered that this moment, and I kind of finding exactly like the Paris Agreement to speak, but actually to do a COP26 ends now on November 12th. So, and I expect really good results, not only for water, but to reduce the impacts on the environment. Yes. For sure.
Andrea, I have a feeling that the water standard in Italy is higher than in Bangladesh, for example.
Yeah, of course. The laws in Europe, in other parts of the world, are higher in terms of request. So this is an interesting question, Andrew. For me, I'm also thinking about that. And, you know, we are doing, so in the industry, in the end, we have to talk about business. And I'm thinking many times about the water. And, you know, water for sure remain one of the top risk for the humanity. If we are thinking that 2 billion people is living till now in countries exposed to high risk water stress. I started to make this concept because I think the solution here maybe apart improving the international law around the water, I think we have to change a little bit the starting point. So the starting approach about the water. You know, for example, today we have ISO, the standard for 9000 that is about the quality. So it's measuring and helping the company to have better performance in terms of quality. We have the 14,000 that is the ISO, that is the standard related to the environment management. But I think really one of the approach that we should start to work will be to find one ISO only dedicated to water. I think water, and when I say, you know, the ISO is helping the company to assess the risk and to imagine new scenario, the future scenario. So I think it's very important, this type of standard. And if you're asking me what I can see in the future interesting will be to have inside any company one ISO, one standard related to the water, where we are assessing the water risk, because nobody of us, frankly speaking, in the companies, we are thinking too much about water risk. Water risk is the possibility for a company that in the future have less lack of water, so less water, and for the community around maybe the company have less fresh water. So I think when we are starting to assess the risk around the water, according in Italy in my place, in Bangladesh for their place, in LA, I think any company can set up a strategy, and at the time, any new investment is not becoming just a new capex for the company. It's becoming an opportunity because you are starting to have a management around the water. So is becoming the water risk assessment is becoming a strategy and can become really organically, internally the management and the future strategy of any companies.
Okay, let's pause right here. This is the end of the live section. Thank you for joining us. If you want to see us talk about the future of water and what everyone thinks is going to happen in the next 5 years, please look at our recording on demand. Thank you. Okay, let's continue about the future. So this is a big subject, and Andrea, you're talking about standards going forward and certifications. What do the others think about that?
I can talk. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Feel free.
yeah.
There's no conversation police here.
Yeah, actually, I think Andrea gave a really, it's a good decision, and it's a good solution to at least to start something, you know, because there's the feeling that nothing is really happening, you know, in concrete. So let's start with something. Have this feeling that we start with some rules for everyone. And from that, we can have an evolution, and we can continue to discuss and to make our work. The worst part of this, that I think, is that we didn't start yet exactly as a globe, you know, as everyone. We didn't start it yet. Everyone is doing his own job, but there's this unity that we truly need at this moment, and we need to start with this idea. This idea, actually, I think it's truly interesting. In the future, in the 5 years coming, from one side we have the industry that keep working hard on new technology, on new solution, on, for example, Officina, on new chemicals, Colvan making this amazing sustainable jeans, but I think it's also the consumer mentality that we also have to work on. First, we need also to educate the consumer and to keep making work on the industry, because we are making all this effort to make to invest in technology, to invest in new product. But finally, if the consumer don't try to find a sustainable product, then we will keep running and running in this cycle that we never come out of this, you know. That's my point of view.
Yes.
I have a question.
Perhaps,
go ahead, Tyson. I had a question.
no, please continue, Andrew. I'm sorry.
I was going to just say, is every country in Latin America have different regulations as well for the water?
Yes, different regulations.
Everybody has a different one.
Yes.
That's the reason. Sorry.
No, I would like to complement what Elizabeth was talking, that, or complement what Andrew started. Perhaps what is not happening is the awareness and involvement of the entire chain. It is the lack of everyone in the chain to have the same responsible attitude. For us, the next step here in Covalent, we really would like to introduce the ozoning process. But it requires great investment and, of course, its own radar. It's a big desire of the board to carry out more of these steps. And what will change will be the closed circuit. And what we use will not be wasted. And it's to use its time, less looking for zero waste. Now, if we use 100% today, let's use a third, and 130% of these are reduced. So we want to look for the new solutions, new technologies to be more efficient. We think that 5 years is a short time. Not much will go away, but internally with the Covalent, we really will a great and better awareness, and I think it's corroborated the previous answer that we say here and seek about the reduction. And yes, in the use of the water. However, we must extend internal to external awareness, take to education for the community, so that it can work, the resource, in the same way as we work, strengthening our stakeholders and customers for sure.
All right, so the last question, the last comments that I would like to ask everybody. Each of you have 90 seconds. How do you see 5 years from now our industry or in your company?
So I can see from a chemical point of view, so as a chemical company, I can see huge investment in terms of time and of course also money to invest technology that are reducing much more possible the water consumption. This is what I can see internally. And also really what I said, I think we have to, I don't believe too much in the international laws that can help us to improve this aspect. I think much more in the own awareness about this aspect. And if we are talking about the company, a business point of view, that's the reason that really I think we have to start, and this is what we started to do, to start to check the cost around the water. And this is the way to think about the future, to not only reduce the consumption of water, but also to reduce the cost around the treatment, for example, the ATP for the water. So this, that's the reason that I hope in the future to see one standards around the water management.
Okay, thank you. Elisabetta?
So I believe it will be much more technology, much more supported on technology. Less resources, we will use less resources and better management of resources. And also the workers, I think we will also have the best conditions for social internet, social network.
Okay.
These 3 points. Mm-hmm.
And Taisa, you have the last word, you have the first word.
Okay. I think that talking a little with, we really want to be more education with our, contribute with more with our community, because it's a scarce resource and it must be treated. The good use of the guaranteed that we will have for actions that are not now, but what will come in the future. Use better of the water.
Thank you. Thank you to all three of you. I really appreciate you being here and for all this information.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Ciao, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.